Microsoft owes an astounding $28.9 billion in back taxes, the IRS says, after an audit of the company's use of tax havens. This came out in Fortune Online News. Now, this just tells you that you can be doing everything right according to what you think's right. The IRS can still attack it and still drag you through the courts, and you can pay literally tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm sure Microsoft has probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars just defending themselves on this. And this has been going on for about 10 years, by the way, too. I'll tell you something, some of the stuff that they did here, and they were talking about in the article. And the only way you can really get around stuff like this is if you're taking write-offs that you think are legal, okay, the IRS can still drag you through the mud. And you're going to have to pay just tons of money in legal fees to defend yourself. And of course, they've got an unlimited check. They just print more money for stuff like this. So it's not a big deal to them. And no one that's auditing you is losing money out of their pocket. But the only way you can get around this is if you want to get around high income taxes, you're going to have to not just leave the U.S., but relinquish your U.S. citizenship. If you're from another country like Canada, Australia, any of these countries, Austria that has really high taxes on income outside the country, if you're residing there, you're going to have to leave and de-tax yourself. You're going to have to be away from that country long enough where you don't go through all this hassle and crap. And of course, the U.S. is the worst country in the world when it comes to stuff like this. And with the liberal society that's going on right now, that's in the U.S., and you got a liberal president, they're just going to be targeting companies that have a lot of assets like Microsoft and other countries that are Fortune 500 countries. And it's going to be coming down to you too, because they're hiring tons of more IRS agents. And the only way you can get out of this is to get out of the system totally. You need to do it legally, relinquish your U.S. citizenship. If you're in these other countries, break your tax ties. Now, Microsoft, it said in the article, will appeal the decision by the U.S. Internal Revenue Service that the software maker owes at least $28.9 billion in taxes related to how it allocated income and expenses among global subsidiaries. This was from 2004 to 2013. Can you believe this? It's going back almost 20 years on this. I mean, this is incredible. The company said Wednesday in a regulatory filing that it's disagreed with the notices of proposed adjustment to its federal tax filings and will appeal the decision. But I mean, you see all the money that's being paid, and I don't know how much this is going to affect the stock long term, but that's a lot of money. But the dispute centers on a 2012 IRS audit into transfer pricing. Now, this is a method that Microsoft's not the only one that's doing this. There are a lot of big companies that are doing this. And according to the law, when I read, it's legal, but it doesn't keep the IRS from attacking it. And so you can be doing everything you think's right and still end up being attacked. Don't think that's not going to affect you. Look at Donald Trump, all the stuff that's happening with him now. Okay, and this is what happens when you have a liberal government coming in office, and most of the people in the U.S. now are voting liberal. But they talked about here that this method is used by companies to shift profits to tax havens and avoid the U.S. corporate tax rate. Now, at the time, Microsoft had been moving billions of dollars in profits to such jurisdictions as Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory that levies a much lower corporate tax rate. Now, the company has changed its corporate structure and practices since the years covered by the audit, so the issues raised by the IRS aren't relevant to the way income is recorded currently. Daniel Goff, a Microsoft vice president, said in a blog post. Now, Goff wrote that Microsoft has been working with the IRS for almost a decade to address questions about how the company allocates income and expenses for tax purposes. The Redmond, Washington-based company said that the proposed additional tax bill of $28.9 billion doesn't include taxes paid under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which could reduce the tally to as much as around $10 billion US dollars. Now, they went on to say that they strongly believe that they have acted in accordance with the IRS rules and regulations, and that their position is supported by case law. Now, Goff said in the post that we welcome the IRS's conclusion of its audit phase, which will provide us with the opportunity to work through these issues at IRS Appeals, a separate division of the IRS charged with resolving tax disputes. Now, Microsoft shares were a little change in extended trading after closing at around 332.42 in New York when this article came out. Now, this was just a few days ago when this came out. Now, this is the key right here is, you can do everything right. It's not going to keep you from getting these audits, and it's not going to keep you from forking over thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, depending on how long this lasts and how big you are. But like I said, you can free yourself up. The first thing you need to do is to get a second passport, okay? You're going to have to do that before you relinquish. If you want to know more how to do this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. You can get a passport as quick as 4 to 8 months. And then we'll show you the steps, how to go forward from there. We have some of the best tax experts in the world. We have one firm that does more relinquishments than any other firm in the world doing this. We can help you in the tax matters, the other matters dealing with relinquishing your U.S. citizenship. And if you want to know more on this, again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here. You'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.